Jack's 3D printing. It's high AFpv, and I've been having a hell of a time tuning this splash. I don't know if a couple of you guys have had the same issue, but some like crazy oscillations while you're just trying to fly forward and doing some straight cinematic shit, and of course that doesn't work. But kind of an exhaustive tuning session today because I don't have a 90-degree USB, so every time that I want to plug this thing into Betaflight, I got to take off the top deck. 14 screws every time. I think I've taken it off 7 or 8 times today, and probably at least 20 times or so in the process of tuning this thing from the very beginning and all that. Custom cut props. I've been using the Ethics S3 props that I cut down and print out. A prop cutter, went and got a Dremel and got those things cut because the the old Dow props I was using, these full nose, what are these, 3045s, they were great, but the clearance on the edge of the duct was just a little too much for what I wanted for tuning and to get everything smooth. And so now with these Ethics and having them all custom cut, thanks to Robert Moss as well, kind of showing me what was up with that, but got those all cut and in there now, so that's a hell of a lot better. But anyway, I'm going to finish taking the rest of this deck off, and I'm going to come back to you guys with my PIDs and the filter settings and all of that kind of stuff. So any of you guys having this issue can possibly use the settings that I threw on here and maybe avoid this issue and start having some fun with your splash, because this was a pain in the ass. Batteries are done, ready to fly another one, but I'm going to take this top deck off for you guys. Come back to you here in a few. So I got the top deck off, got the duct off and everything. You guys can see this is kind of my setup. Got a Foxier Falcor that I got in the front, Rush Tank VTX. I got my Nano for my Crossfire right over here on top of the Radix flight controller, which is under here and soft mounted. And then I got a Hobby Wing 40 amp ESC in here. So that's what she looks like inside, and I'm going to plug her into Betaflight now, and we'll check out the PIDs and the filter settings. Alright guys, here we are in Betaflight with the splash all plugged in. Look how cool that TPU piece is with the LEDs on there. Anyway, here we go, PID tuning. So here you guys can see, I kind of went by Robert Moss's stuff. He was talking to Jack and myself, and so I kind of went off some of his PIDs and kind of adjusted things. So as you guys can see, all three of these are default, and then we've got the master multiplier over here about, I think it was like 6 or 7 notches or something. Hold on, let's see, 136, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notches over. And that gives you all of your PIDs right there, as well as your feed forward. I've got I-turn rotation on, VBAT PID compensation, I-turn relax I've got set to set point, not to gyro. Gyro is giving me a little bit of a bounce back on some of the yaw spins and things like that, and so set point wasn't. Everything else is all the way that Robert had on his, as you guys can see there. Here are my rates. If you guys want to know what those are, I'm running 1.25 RC rate, 0.7 super rate, 0.4 on Expo just to smooth it out if I'm shaky or whatever, and so it results in 833 for roll and pitch and 767 for yaw. And then this is pretty important, the TPA and the TPA breakpoint, you guys definitely need to adjust those. I think they come stock 0.5 and like 1500 or something like that, which doesn't cover a whole lot of the throttle band for a Cinewhoop. So I set mine to 0.6 and 1850, and 1850 covers a little bit more than 3/4 of the throttle. So if you're receiving some oscillations that are a little bit higher up in your throttle band, set that up just a little bit higher. And then I just kind of covered myself by dropping the TPA, or actually raising it, I guess, a little bit from what it would have been stock, from 0.5 to 0.6. Originally, I think Robert had his at 0.8 and at 1800 for the TPA breakpoint, and I'm running 6S, so I just changed that up a little bit to 0.6 and 1850 on there. And then as far as the filter settings, default filter settings, just straight default. I honestly didn't change anything in here. All of this is as per what Robert had, with the medium on the dynamic notch filter, 0 on the dynamic notch width percentage. That way that just closes that down, lets the RPM filtering do what it's supposed to. And then 200 for your dynamic notch Q, and 80 for your minimum hertz for the dynamic. And that really is about it. And it's been flying pretty smooth. You know, I was getting some pretty horrible oscillations, some stuff that looked just like Joshua's videos, if you guys saw that. You know, he had like the real steady go issue, or they were thinking it was the mount or something like that, but I'm thinking it's just the weight with the session and everything like that. Oh yeah, and another thing too, I'm also running my battery toilet tanked on the splash. So let me stick this down here real quick, and you guys can see what I do. But I got my power cord is coming out on that side, and I just slide this in, and then I got my two straps, and this also helped move the weight forward a little bit, and it took a lot of the extended weight off the yaw axis basically, and it just kind of helped balance things out and tip it forward just a little bit more, which I also think helped out a ton. So maybe in the future we can maybe do like a double battery or a single battery strap design for toilet tank for this, maybe Jack. But anyway, you guys, that's what I got. I'm going to show you guys the HD video that I kind of showed Jack and Joshua, and this is just, it's from a session 4, no ND filter. I'm not using Real Steady Go. I'm a cheap ass. I use fucking iMovie to edit everything because I just don't see the point in buying a whole bunch of expensive software and, you know, editing stuff. So that's it, just stock settings, 1080p, super view. Pretty sure that I have auto tune and spot meter off. Other than that, that's it. There's no ND filter, there's no, you know, smoke and mirrors, no magic or anything like that. I like to just have like a nice, smooth, clean tune, which is why this was bugging me so much, and a lot of back and forth between Jack. Thank you so much, Jack. Thank you, Robert Moss and Joshua, for posting that kind of stuff up and just kind of getting me off my ass and wanting to do this. Has been, you know, like an all-day process. My wife can tell you, you know, she's been sitting over here recovering with the dogs and stuff, but yeah, I've just been tuning all day, hover testing in here and bugging the shit out of her while she's trying to watch movies, but by God, I think we finally got it. So, HD footage coming up next. Peace out, you guys. Nothing but love. Hi, AF. Peace.